So New Year's Day, guys, no rest for the wicked. I'm in this afternoon because a subscriber is coming to pick up the black Peugeot. They're coming into the Umberley train station, which is just down the road from me. So we're going to hop in the car, drive down and meet the subscriber who's a dealer and wants to buy the car as is. He's seen the video on it, knows what the fault with it is, and you know, he's going to roll the dice same as I would as to whether it's simply a fuel filter like a lot of you have said, because it is overdue a service, or whether it's an injector which could come out nicely and just be replaced, or it could be seeds in the head and a pain in the bum. But I'll never know. Well, hopefully the subscriber will let me know what it was in the end, and you know, hopefully for them it is something similar. I can make a few quid on it. But the only way I can sell it to you know, sold as seen, is to another dealer, because we all know the score as dealers. It's always a calculated risk for us. So we're going to go and do that. Little update on a couple of other things. The Alfa. A lot of you ask about the Alfa. Yes, look at the state it's in. The one thing that'll tell you is that this car still drives really, really well. I bloody love it. I use it all the time. It's in desperate need of a headlight buff. I need to do the lacquer on the bonnet. It just needs a mother of all cleans. The alloys need a bit of a refurb, I think. That one's alright actually. Maybe there's only one that needs a refurb. The interior's filthy. I just bloody love this car. A few of you have now bought Alfas off my recommendation, which does worry me a little bit. But a few of you have bought Alfas now off my recommendations, these particular models with the diesels in, and all the messages I'm getting is I bloody love it. It's a great car. And this one, in this spec, the Veloce with the satin wing mirrors and the bigger alloys and all that, it just looks so nice. When this is clean, it looks really nice. But yeah, I'm getting and using it daily. People have asked, have you sorted out the problem with it? Well, the trouble with it is, the problem with it is so minor, it's not really something I can be bothered to do. I'm utterly convinced now that it's just a slight boost leak. That's why it's boosting later. I've run Forte cleaner through it twice, and I do think it's improved a little bit, but the boost is still properly kicking in, I'd say about 2,500 revs rather than 1,700 revs. But if you were just to get someone in this car and have them drive it and they didn't know any better, they'd say that's a fantastic driving car. And that's the reality for me, is I drive it enthusiastically. I'm getting 42 to the gallon out of it, driving it very enthusiastically. Loving driving it. And yes, I just haven't got round to fixing it. But if anybody did want it as is, then I'm happy to do them a deal on that. Everything's always for sale, but eventually I'll get round to doing something with it. But I just like driving it. Onto the Suzuki Swift I bought as my cheap track day car. Again, you can see from the filth, it's not missed a beat. I honestly don't know what any of the issues were that they were talking about, you know, because obviously BCA weren't prepared to drive it down, because the last MOT had a note that the seat moved and the brakes were bad. Well, you can look on the back, we've got brand new disc and what looked like new calipers on the back as well. On the front, they're not new, but they're in good condition. I've had no issues with the brakes at all, so I think it may well be that after that MOT someone went ahead and had the work done. The seat hasn't moved on me while I've been driving it, and again, it's just an absolute hoon to drive. It's not quick. The Alfa's quicker, but this handles really, really nicely. I was mucking about with the exhaust tips and trying to get them level, because if you remember, one was poking out further than the other, and now I can't get that one back on without getting underneath the car, so that's why that's off at the moment. But again, this is huge fun. I think I'm going to do my first track day is down in Cornwall on the 16th of January, I think. So I'm hoping that to be my first track day. If any of you are going down there, let me know. It'd be good to meet you. So I think that's what's going on with that side of things. Now on to the Nissan that was in the last video. I've come in this morning and I'm pleased to say, after allowing the wheels to clear overnight, I haven't got the issue I thought I had. I've now got a nice silver. This one's ever so slightly darker, but it's still silver. So these, I'm not going to redo it all over again. It's still nice silver. So that one's got a bit more trash in it, but with wheels I don't tend to worry about it too much. So they're going back on the car. Now interestingly, I had a call when I was sat here on New Year's Eve. A call came through on the phone. Every time I'm here the phone's ringing. It's really strange. People don't seem to think I'm ever going to be closed, which I guess they're right, because I'm here. And it was the lady that had, now some of you long-term viewers will know this, the lady that had a white Toyota Yaris off me that I sold her, and it had a bit of an emission problem, and I drove out to Holsworthy, picked it up, bought it back, put a catalytic converter on it for her, warranty-wise paid out and paid for the catalytic converter on that for me based on the policy I had. It was only about 2 weeks after the lady had the car, so thanks to warranty-wise for that. But I did what I wasn't supposed to do, which is ferried back and forth, picking up the car and sorting things out for her. But it obviously paid dividends, because unfortunately for her, she wrote that car off. She's had a very minor prang, but she hasn't bought the car back. She didn't realise they'd write it off, like I say to you in the videos all the time. She didn't realise they were going to write it off. Very minor prang. They've written it off, and they've paid her straight into the bank account. So she was on the phone to me going, what have you got? I want a car. I said, look, I've got 2 cars. I've got a Kia Picanto, and I've got a Nissan Note. And I said, the Nissan Note is just about ready. She said, can you send me a picture of it? So I sent her a picture across, gave her the information on it. She messaged back and said, yep, I'll have that. She said, easiest car buying I've ever done. I said, oh, I appreciate that. And she said, well, my brother spoke to me. And interestingly, in the previous video, if you go back, and this was the lady that when the car initially had a bit of a problem, said, oh, my family is saying I should go and get the car independently checked and all this kind of stuff. And it put my nose slightly out of joint because I felt like she was saying I wasn't trustworthy. Well, she said to me, my family have said, based on the way you treated me the last time, I'm absolutely the person you should go back to and buy a car, and I agreed with them. So I thought I'd give you a bell and see what you've got. So yeah, so it's just on the basis of one picture of the Nissan, she says she's going to have that. Now, obviously, till the money's in the bank, you don't know the deal's done. But I can get the wheels back on now. I can valet the outside of it. And then it's ready, because it's already had the MOT done by the legend that is Phil down at Moores. Who has also sent me a message and said that the next car that's going to feature in a video, that I haven't done a video on, which will be the next one I think, he's got 3 MOT advisory free for me. Just to clarify, it's not Phil's dodging anything on the MOTs, it's just that my last MOT station would do the MOT and just wouldn't do anything, which is fair enough, I never asked him to do anything, but Phil takes the initiative. And if there's things that need replacing, he just replaces them because he knows that I'm good for it and I'll pay out. And he knows, you know, the kind of money I want to spend on stuff. He takes the most cost-effective way forward. So it's not that he's skipping on anything. It's just he's using a little bit of his own sort of free will and getting stuff done that he knows means I'll end up having an advisory-free MOT. So he's just told me that's got an advisory-free MOT. That needs quite a lot of paintwork, that car. So it will. I think I showed it shortly in a video, very briefly in a video before. That's the Ford Fusion. So that will be in the next video. We'll have a walk. I got that from a subscriber, and he knows I'm going to take the Michael about it slightly because it was so beat up. But we've had a laugh about it together. He knows the score with it. And I told him, look, at the end of the day, you know, I will rag it a little bit on the channel. Because it is pretty badly beaten up. But it's nice low mileage. And Phil says that actually it's a really good car. He says it underneath and maintenance-wise, it's really, really good. He said it's just they've scraped it a lot. So, and that's you've seen that with me a lot of the time with the Nissans, the Nissan Micras, the Nissan Notes like these are normally really, really good cars mechanically, but just based on the kind of people that have them, they tend to get a scrape here and there. So they make a really good buy because other dealers don't want to touch bodywork, and I'm happy obviously to do bodywork. And I will take the time to do it and make it mint, which means I can end up asking sort of the good prices for the cars because they're in fantastic condition. But, you know, I think, I don't want to jinx it now, but I was thinking I might do a video on this and go through all the cars I've done so far and tell you which have been the most reliable, which have had the least warranty claims. Now, I think, thinking about it, Nissans are the only cars I've never had a warranty claim on. So I'm touching wood while I say that. But obviously I do a lot of Hyundais and Kias as well, and they've had warranty claims, but only very, very minor things. So they're super reliable as well. But I think the Nissans are the only ones I've had nothing from. Now that may be because the cars are being bought and being parked outside someone's house and used once in a blue moon, whereas the other stuff's being used more daily, which is probably the case, to be fair. But that's the way it is. So the Nissans seem to be the more reliable on that front. I've got to do a service on it as well, haven't I? So we're going to, as I'm here anyway for the subscriber to pick up the car, I'm going to whip the wheels back on again for this so it can get down on the ground. Then I'll go and pick him up. But then I have to be honest, I think I'm probably going to go home as it is New Year's Day and play a bit of Fortnite with Brooke. Couple other quick updates. The Caddy van, I tried it again yesterday just to see if it would start again as easy as it did once Scott and I sorted it the other day, and I'm pleased to say it fired up straight away again. No smoke. A few of you commented on that, and I forgot to mention in the video, even starting from scratch, it had no smoke at all. The engine idled really nicely, so really pleased with that. I did sneak in with, I had some leftover lacquer from doing the wheels the other day, so I keyed this section up and lacquered this as well over the patina, and I'm really liking that finish. So yeah, looking forward to doing the whole van on that. MGB, I had this at home for a long while, didn't I? I was using it as a daily, and it's playing silly beggars. So I went to start it the other day and it wouldn't start, first time ever, wouldn't start, and I had a very weak spark on it. So I thought, I checked the battery was very low, and I thought, well, the battery's a the battery's a really old battery. Let's go and get a new battery in it, try that out. So I got the new battery for it, put it on, and it still wasn't starting. So I thought, right, okay, I'll have a look underneath, check the coil out, check the relays, check the points, all that kind of good stuff. But the wind was really strong, and the blooming bonnet blew back and bent, and it's bent the hinges underneath here. I don't know if you can see that. So I can only get the bonnet open this far. So I had to get Adrian to come out from A&K Van Services. He came and picked the car up and brought it over here because I wanted it over here anyway, and it saved me having to get lift back again. So I brought it here so I can undo the bonnet, flatten that out and try and sort it out. I've got a new coil for it. I say it's got the new battery on it. I don't understand what's wrong with it because it was so ultra reliable, this car. It started first time every time, and all it's been done is sat outside, and I've not changed anything on it at all. But what I did notice is when I put the new battery on, the ignition light stays on the dashboard and the fuel pump is continuously running. So I don't know if I've got a problem with the ignition key or not. I might have a problem with the ignition, so I've ordered a new barrel for that. I know it sounds a bit like part starts, but the nice thing about MGBs is they're crazy cheap to get bits for, because I do want to get this up and running again. I sorted out the tyres for it, so my plan was in December was to get it in here and sand these bits down and start a rattle can resto. I thought it'd be quite good fun for you guys to see me restore a car in entirety with rattle can, because I'd have to be doing a panel at a time. I wouldn't get to do the whole thing at once because I don't have time to do that. So I was going to work my way around it. But for those who haven't seen this before, by the way, you know, just in case you haven't, this is my MGB that I bought and used pretty much daily throughout the summer, right up till probably nearly November. I used this every day as my driver and bloody loved it. So as you can see, I've got a bit of affinity with old cars. A few of you said from the videos, you know, why don't you just do old cars, James? You seem to enjoy old cars. Yeah, I'd like to do classics. I would like to do classics. And I won't step on your toes, Mad Mike, up in Wales. I think you're still having this, aren't you? The thing with classics is I think it's a longer sales process. You see how quickly I turn over the cheapy little stuff. I mean, this Picanto, I think, is not selling right now simply because we're right in the middle of December and New Year. I'm sure this will go pretty quickly. You see how quickly my stock turns over with that. Classic cars, I mean, and get me wrong, I don't know the industry, but I imagine it's a slower turnover. If I did do it, I think I'd do this kind of thing where I'd just recommission. Again, like Mike, still his line, recommission, not restore. I don't want to be getting into restorations because I don't think there's really the money there. I think if someone's having you build it for them, the money's there, but I don't think there is if you are doing it to resell yourself. Quick update on the Sebring. No update. I've got the engine from Lee and nothing's happened at all. So this is another one I really need to get cracking on. I've decided now with this one, when I started doing this, I thought it's investing quite a bit of money in it. I need to make sure this is absolutely pucker. So if I want to sell it on, you know, absolute premium pricing. But to be fair, the business has done well enough now that I can afford to have a toy, he says, having probably 3 or 4 toys. 4 toys at the moment. I can afford to have a toy and I can afford to build it the way I want to build it. I don't have to worry about resale on it. So I want it super lightweight and just like major fun. And it will possibly get an MX-5 conversion later on, depending on how this engine goes. So I'm not going to overly obsess about getting it. So, you know, I was thinking I want plexiglass windows, and I thought, well, I'll know someone rebuying the car off me again won't want plexiglass. I want proper glass. I'm going to plexiglass it now, because you can buy plexiglass and you can just basically seal it in here, seal it in the rear. I might do fixed windows here rather than doing wind-up windows with the slots in them. And just really get the weight out of the car, get it as light as possible. If I get this down to like 700 kilograms with like 130 brake horsepower, which I think is, both those numbers I think are quite conservative considering these start out at 900 kilograms. And I've taken, you know, loads out of this car, absolute tons. The doors are so much lighter, as is the boot lid, the bonnet and the wings and all that. So if I can get this around, yeah, well, 750 kg, let's say, and 130 odd brake horsepower, which I think is conservative with this being bored out to 2 litres, having the high lift cam, flowed head, light and flywheel, all that kind of stuff. I think we're probably good to go on that. So I think, yeah, I'm just going to build that for me now, but I do need to crack on and do that. So yeah, that's a little update on what's happening. Should we have a quick little update on what stock I've got outside, because I might as well make it a full update video on what's going on before we go fully into the new year. So outside, what we have stock-wise left is the Volvo, which featured in a few videos back. Now this is so clean, this Volvo, and so nice. I'm definitely going to go ahead and get it fixed and retail it, because it's had the cam belt done really recently, isn't it? It's in fantastic condition other than this little bump here. Now I haven't been able to find a wing in the right colour. I am a bit nervous about painting this colour, so I am half tempted to take the wing off and hammer and dolly this back out again, because it's not massively out of shape, and then filler it, because I'll be able to keep the paint here the same colour and the paint here the same colour, so these two panels will be okay to each other, which is the biggest risk, having a really different colour there, because I'll only be spraying sort of here and I kind of leave this edge the same. The bumper I think will go again. It looks bent out at the moment because it's holding tension here. Once I've taken the tension out, I can plastic weld this section back together again. That means that minimal outlay on the car, allowing me to sell it very keenly. And I think once that's done, it'll fly out the door. I mean, if someone, you know, oh yeah, it was a crashed car, it was a written off car, if they can see that's all it was, I don't think they could have a problem buying it, especially if I've got it up like 25% cheaper than the equivalent car non-cat. And it's just, you know, as I said many times, it's just so clean. Other than that, mega clean. The part exchange I took in, the little Peugeot 108, I just need to clean it and get it up for sale. That's got a new MOT on it already, needs a service, so I've just haven't managed to do that over the break. The Fiesta is still completely untouched, so the game plan with this: get in it, wash it down, machine polish it, see how much of this terrible paintwork comes out. I'm not going to spray the whole side of a car, and I'm not going to pay somebody else to do it. That won't make sense on a car of this value. I'm just going to tidy it up as much as possible, because we've got scrapes up here as well. Fix the bumper, paint the bumper. I've already got the paint for that, haven't I? Then I think it wants a clutch, so get it over to Stewpot over at Alfa Romeo, probably have him do the clutch on it, and I say just buff the rest of it up, get a fresh MOT on it and get it up for sale. Won't be a lot of profit in that one. Mind you, prices have gone up since, so maybe this is worth more than when I got it the last time, but yeah, I think it's worth doing. The trailer is the guy that owns that unit over there, and is supposed to have moved it when I moved in. Typical, I said, you know, I was nice and said there was no hurry, which there isn't really. I don't need the space right now. I don't quite like the look of it against the stock, but at least this isn't retail stock, so I'm not going to kick off any fuss about that at the moment. And in terms of the car park, a lot of you said what's happening with the muddy car park. Well, it isn't really that muddy. It's the winter at the moment. It's not that bad. I don't think it presents itself that poorly. The landlord has talked about tarmacking it or concreting it, which if he does, fantastic, but I'm not overly bothered in between. It's all pretty dry down here. It's not really that muddy at all. It's only muddy there where the trucks turn in, and I'm not supposed to put the cars that far out anyway. They're supposed to stay over here. So that's a little update on things. If there's anything that I haven't covered recently, I haven't covered anything financial with you for a while. I did used to tell you the profit out of each car and that kind of thing, but no one seems to have been asking that much about it. I don't know how many people are that bothered about knowing how much I've made out of each of the cars. I think they probably, it seems to me, you like to see the process more than anything. But if there is anything like that that you want answered, get it down below, get in the comments down below, and I'll ask the questions away. You know, I try and get through all of them and discuss everything. You know, I'm pretty much an open book, guys, so if you've got any questions over anything, let me know. In terms of the unit, what I didn't update you on quickly on that is obviously I stripped everything out of this unit to paint the floor and make it the showroom. As soon as I got the Nissan out, I will come in and paint the floor. I'm going to try it without the sealer first this time, because the sealer seems to be what's making that paint next door lift off. Yeah, I did notice Rob over at Salvage Rebuilds UK copied me a little bit this Christmas painting his floor. You know, I don't want to say that basically they're following my trends, anything like that, do you know what I mean? But yeah, clearly I'm the only person that should be painting my floor this time of year, and the fact that they've done theirs at exactly the same time, I'll leave it to you to draw a conclusion on that front. Obviously, only kidding, guys, their channel is crazy more successful than mine. Anyway, let's go and get this subscriber picked up, and let's say close up, go home and spend a little bit more time with the family before it gets crazy, and we're straight back into it again. As always, thanks for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed, please smash that like button below. It helps the algorithm recommend the video to other people. And if you aren't already subscribed, double check now. Are you subscribed? If you're not, hit that subscribe button so you can get notifications of all the new videos. Thanks a lot. I hope you all had a great new year. See you again soon.